All right, welcome to Nathaneal Podcast. Today we have a good friend of mine from X, Dan West. Welcome, Dan.
Hey bro, thanks for having me. I'm excited for this, and let's see what we get into today because you've been crushing these, so excited to chat.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. And I've been loving your content. I noticed one of the things that you talk about all the time is like getting paid to be yourself. That's even part of your. I think that if I'm not mistaken, that's your banner, right? Being paid to be yourself. Um, can you give us a little bit of background, like how you came to that philosophy, or what made you say that?
So I've consumed a lot of Naval Ravikant in my time, and over the last few years, he was definitely a big influence on me when especially when I first arrived in the creator economy when I didn't even know what it was. Just emerged, and I was like, who are all these people that are like me, that are like ADHD but really driven, really creative? And I kind of realized that a lot of the individuals that built the creator economy have all been influenced by this guy. So his ideas have really shifted the world. So I've always come back to him, and I did a silent retreat in Bali a few months ago now, and I didn't eat for 3 days. I hadn't spoken for like 3 days as well, and it was just pure silence. And I just had this thought of, it's like it just came to me. I kind of was like, really, what everyone wants in the creator economy, or at least what the idea that I took from Naval that I think kind of runs through the whole space, is people really want to get paid for being themselves, right? They want to get paid for sharing their ideas. They want to get paid for the way they think. And what we see around us, a brand, revenue, offers, and all of this stuff, right, is just an extension of our mind and our values. So if somebody's getting paid if someone's getting paid on repeat because they released a course, or if someone's attracting clients to their coaching, or if someone's attracting clients to their service, really, that's just a result of them putting their authentic self out there over and over and over and over again, and eventually like building up some compounding interest and attracting individuals, revenue, an audience, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, and simply from like what's going on between your ears. So that idea really took over my mind, really hijacked my mind, and made me realize that we've never been in a time where it's where it's easier to simply speak what's on your mind, speak what you believe in, speak your values and your truth, and have it pop up months down the line in your bank account as money. So that's really where I get the idea from. I think it's possible for everyone if you have the work ethic and if you have the desire. And I think the last thing I'll say about it is it can express itself in multiple different ways. Like it could be a product, it could be a service, it could be a done with you, like a coaching, which is still a service. It could be a book, it could be whatever. You could make it into a software. Whatever the delivery mechanism isn't important. The most important thing is that it's all a reflection of what's going on up here and you as an individual. And I think the only way to do it is by being 100% honest with who you are and putting that honest self out there for the world to see. So that's where the idea sort of came from.
It's amazing, dude. And I see that a lot in your brand. I've been going deep into your YouTube stuff, and dude, you just go uncut, like sort of like a rant. Like you just put up your phone and then you just record yourself, whatever pops up in your head, like no editing whatsoever. But I kind of want to go deep into what you mentioned. I think, and this is what you mentioned in your post, monk mode, 6 months in Sri Lanka, or is this different from the one you mentioned just now?
So the monk mode in Sri Lanka, that was I did a recent monk mode that was in Bali. That was just 1 month. Okay. That was with a client. But the monk mode that you're talking about was last year in Sri Lanka. So what was the what were your thoughts on that?
Well, because you mentioned something like you didn't eat and speak for 3 days, like you literally didn't speak, like no words at all. How did you, like, you just stayed at home? What did you do at that time?
Oh no, I went on a side, yeah, super autistic recluse. No, no, I booked into a silent retreat. That they actually ran this retreat
Oh,
for
right. Okay. I thought it was
people.
just a solo thing.
No, although I've done that multiple times. Like dude, if you actually, I've probably seen kind of normal, but if
Yeah.
you actually met me and understood like the way I live my life, mate, I'm a freak. Like I, dude, I'll spend like a week like without seeing anyone, and then I'll spend a week like just partying or like something, you know. So
Yeah.
there's no balance. Like it's balanced in the macro, but
Yeah.
week by week, you're like he's going
It's
to different
different.
extremes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely get that. There was one time I just want to share. I also didn't eat for 3 days. Actually, I was like, I said it was pandemic. Yeah, those were the times when I was like going into deep into self improvement stuff because it was pandemic. You really had nothing to do. I think a lot of people kind of went through that during the pandemic where they were alone with their thoughts and you can't really distract yourself. I was there and I also did that, like this 3 day fast. Yeah, man. Like if you say that, the things you do, like you monk mode for 1 week and then next time you're partying, dude, I definitely get that. But one thing that you also mentioned, I saw in your post, you graduated politics and political philosophy in college. um what got you into that space?
Good question. So, dude, I when I finished school,
Yeah.
I was very bright at middle school. Like
Hmm.
English was my best subject by a mile, and so I knew I liked writing from a young age. And then when I did A levels, which was like high school, dude,
Mm.
I pretty much flunked the whole
Wow.
year. I was the biggest underachiever ever.
Mm.
I was going out and partying a lot, so I wasn't attending any of the classes. My education at high school was purely social. Like I didn't really learn anything at school. So
Mm.
when I left school, I didn't have good grades, so it was really hard to get into good universities.
Okay.
But I was working at a local shop, which I actually went into yesterday, and there's still people working there that were working there when I was there.
Oh, wow.
It was a trip, like seeing these people still working there. It's been like 10 years. Um, Thinking, oh, what are you doing? But anyway, um, I was working there, and I realized this isn't for me. Like I can't continue. They wanted me to get on the management program and had like they
Yeah.
wanted to promote me. I was like, I can't do this. So I went to university, but the only
Okay.
course they'd let me get into university on was it's called a foundation year. It's like an access course. It's just a way of them saying, hey, we'll let you in if you pay us
Mm.
9K. Yeah.
Okay.
And study for a year. And during that year, I originally applied for a business degree. In
Okay.
that foundation year, best thing that ever happened to me or one of them, because it covered government, it covered law, it covered like all these different humanity subjects because it gives you
Interesting.
like a holistic view on what they offer at uni.
Yeah.
And during that year, the most exciting modules, the ones that I was most turned on by, was anything to do with politics, anything to do with government. I found it so interesting because it's human behavior.
Yeah.
So when it came to actually getting onto the full degree, it was an easy choice. It's just like
Mm.
100% politics, international relations, which is what it was.
Wow.
And dude, that taught me so much about human nature. Like you have
Mm.
no idea. So I loved it. I loved it, and that's how I ended up on it. And yeah, I really enjoyed the course. I wrote my dissertation on North Korea and why they're building nuclear weapons, and
Wow.
just to spoil the ending, like the crux of it is why not? Like
I love it, dude. Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah, that was it. That's my experience with that's how I got into it, and that's how I ended up on that course.
dope, dope. I'm actually, I find that interesting because, dude, right now I'm taking a break from college, but I also am taking like, public administration. So sort of political things too. And I wanted to like get your take on that. So like this is kind of like a personal advice, but right now, I'm kind of doing well with the creator economy, right? But I do enjoy university. It's just that I I don't know if I'll ever use the degree, to be honest. At this point where I'm already like, I mean, I only went there because that's how it is, traditionally. Like you go to college and then you get a job. But now that I've kind of found like an entrepreneurial success, what do you think? Even to the people who are watching who also are thinking that way, what would you say?
I would say this. It's funny. I was just having this conversation right before this podcast, and
Really?
yeah, and I made a tweet right before we got on. So
Dope.
it's funny. Look, university is nearest damn it to a scam. Like, right, and I need everyone to realize that, realize that you are getting scammed. The ROI is not that high, especially at
Yeah.
first. Like you spend like in the UK, $50,000, or that's like $30,000 minimum. That's just on the course alone, minimum. And then you go into a job that makes you maybe £40,000, or like you're going to spend way over that. You're going to spend like £50,000 studying, and you're going to go into a course that pays you $40,000 a year. So like realize that the ROI it's not that high, at least not at first. You've got to get into some kind of system and work your way up. Personally, that was never for me. And I've got two more points, and we're gonna go through
Go
them.
for it.
Secondly, so 3 years studying, 50K invested for maybe a 40K a year job. That is pretty much that's a scam. That's terrible, right? That is a scam. However, you could let's flip it on the other side. You could spend 1 year and less than $10,000 studying a skill or learning a skill, going deep on a skill online, and you could be making within a year, if you're really good at what you do, you could make over 100K a year, and that's only going to keep rocketing up if you're committed. So that's the other side. Like if you decide to boycott university, I can guarantee if you're a driven person, you're even if you got scammed in the creator economy or by a course, you're going to make more money than if you went to university. So I want to get that straight. Now, here's my third point. Third point. Do I regret getting scammed by university? Hell no.
Okay.
Dude, I absolutely loved it. It was so fun. I got pissed like 3 times a week. I was like, everyone's just having fun, and I learned a lot in my course. I learned how to write. Like without that, I probably wouldn't be as passionate a writer as I am. I wouldn't know as much about human nature. I wouldn't have met some of the people that are now lifelong friends who I see regularly and stay in contact with. So, and there's even people living in Bali with me who I met at university. So the network, like the long-term benefit, the mid-term benefit of university from a from a network perspective and from a development perspective is huge. It's just if you look at it based purely on financial gain,
On money, yeah.
it's a scam.
Right. Well, okay. So again, this is kind of like a personal question. So I am actually not paying for college. I'm a scholar. So do you think that I should do you think I should continue, or because I'm thinking now of like in terms of time, because then, like if I continue my university, then my attention is split instead of like trying to go all in with the creator economy and like trying to grow the business as fast as I can. Like I'm doing two things. What do you think about that?
Whew. What I can only answer like, what would I do?
Yeah.
What's your biggest priority now, man? Like, because here's the thing: when I was 20, how old are you now?
21.
21. When I was 21, I didn't really care about money. Like, all I wanted to do,
Okay.
bruv, I did, but not much. All I wanted to do was just have fun and party all the time. I wanted to just chase girls and I wanted to get laid. Like, dude, like that was all I wanted.
Yeah.
That was so for me. My priority was like, where do I get that?
Yeah.
And also just make like I just wanted to build my network and socialize all the time. So for me, my priority was that. Now we live in a really interesting time where someone who's 21, 18, even 17, if they're really good at what they do, can actually be earning a lot more than me, than people that are way further along in their jobs, people that are actually successful creators. Let's stay with the creator economy. They can earn more than like older successful creators, if they're really, really good at what they do, they find the thing. So I would say if your priority right now is like, I want to build my skill set, I want to build my entrepreneurial, I want to explore my entrepreneurial streak, I want to really get good at what I do, I want to learn a craft. It's like, it's no different from ignoring university and going and getting an apprenticeship, except for you're in charge of the apprenticeship and you can earn a lot more money. So I would say, if you don't want to just do what I did, which was I just want to go and chase tail, honestly, stick with what you're doing. I would say if it fulfills you and if it makes you feel happy. But if you want to go and chase some girls around and just have fun while developing knowledge, then university is a good shout. But I think you're making money, man. If that's your priority, I'd follow the money. But when I was your age, I was following the fun always. So maybe there's something to be said for that. Follow the fun. Follow the fun.
Well, I mean, I think the career economy is fun, and dude, I do need the money because, bro, I'm independent. Like, if I don't, that's why I took a leave from university, because if I didn't, I would be like broke. So,
Yeah, dude, I think you should carry on doing what you're doing. To be honest with you, like you're copywriting, something you're getting very, very good at. Other skills that you're developing, dude. Like, think about how that's going to compound over the next few years. You, if you play your cards right, within 10 years, you might never have to do like this work. Like, you might never have to work again. Like, if you do it
yeah,
really well. I don't
yeah.
imagine. I think you're more driven than that. But the point is, I think for your future, it looks a lot brighter if you stick to learning skills that pay you. And yeah, like, it just depends where your head's at, man. But it seems like you're on a good path, to be honest.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. And speaking of money, one thing that really stood out to me in one of your videos, you mentioned you got, like, someone stole what, 90 grand or something like that from
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
Yeah. Can you tell me more? Because that was a really interesting story.
man. It's that was. I've got some like weird, crazy stories in my life, but that was probably like what made me. It was okay. It was 875 Solana, which is Solana, the crypto token, which worked out to about $90,000. Me and a few buddies heard a rumor that some people we went to school with had made $500,000 in like a matter of weeks. And knowing these kids, men, I guess, knowing these guys personally, we thought, if they can do it, if these guys, they were just a bunch of like stoners. And I was like, if these guys can do it, so can we. So we decided to get our heads together. We built a team out, and we built a community. We built a brand around these NFTs, which are non-fungible tokens, which is basically a crypto token in the form of artwork. And there's certain benefits that people get if they invest in a certain NFT or your NFT. It's like an offer. It's like, hey, you buy my NFT, you're going to get this in return. You're going to get this community. You're going to potentially get all these outsized returns, like this financial ROI, and you're also going to get all these like perks and benefits, like membership into the club. Anyway, we did a really good job of building up hype, and about we eventually launched after the hardest I've ever worked in my life by a mile. Was doing like 16-hour days. Like, when people say, "Oh, you don't know what grind is," I'm looking at those guys and saying, "You don't know what grind is." This was, we were putting our health on the line big time. Like, I was staying up till 4 a.m. every single day, just like on calls with people from America, like doing the sales thing, really, just trying to build up. Anyway, we did a good job with that. The effort paid off. After 12 hours, in the first like 10 hours, we'd made over 100K. And then the next day, bearing in mind we're absolutely drained, we still have more to sell, so we haven't celebrated yet. Just like this message pops up in our Discord chat, which is the community chat, from someone who was anonymous. And they said, is there any reason that 875 Solana, which is $90,000, is there any reason why this has been moved out of your treasury wallet? Because are you familiar with Web3 and like blockchain?
No.
Okay, so you can see every single transaction that goes into anybody's wallet on the blockchain.
Oh, right.
The only thing you can't see is the name of the individuals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So let's say, for example, you sent me like $1,000. Um,
Everyone will see it.
everyone can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't be able to see it. They wouldn't say, oh, it was Nathaniel that sent it to Dan. They would just see like a code sent to code. So it'd be like X45631 sent this much to X45725, something like that. So it was you couldn't see who had withdrawn the money.
Mm.
So we thought it was a joke. And then when we checked the wallet, it'd been bled dry.
Wow.
So it wasn't a joke. And we called up our developer and was like, "What happened?" And he was like, "I don't know. I don't know what
Wow.
happened. Yeah, like there must have been someone must have robbed us." And we believed it. Like we fully
Yeah.
believed it. We're like, "Oh yeah, couldn't have been anyone that we know. It couldn't have been anyone on the inside because it was like a team of five of us." And then a few weeks later, I mean, within a few days, we kind of figured out like the penny dropped, and we're like, "Oh my god, it was them.
This
They were
guy.
holding the bag. They took the money. They're in Australia, and we're in the UK. How could we be so stupid?" And we'd built the whole project. We'd done all the marketing. We built the product.
Yeah.
But just the person who actually launched it for us stole that money, man. It was rough, but taught me so much. Taught me, oh god, $90,000 course that I would take 10 times over. Like it was so important.
That was so, yeah, I could imagine, man. Like, is this your first business or have you tried something else before?
I ran a lawn mowing company, which I
Okay.
automated. That's how I got to move to Bali. I've run events companies and stuff like that, and some other nefarious businesses. But I've been an entrepreneur for a while, but I've launched a few different businesses with mixed success. Most of them, pretty much all of them, are still going.
Hmm.
Um, just my involvement has changed.
But this was like the biggest loss in a way, I assume. Like the 90K, the Solana thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 100%.
how,
Yeah.
like, and how did you kind of recuperate? Because I remember you said after what 3 weeks you made 230. Like, how was that? How'd that happen?
Just had to go beast mode. Strange things happen to your mind when you're pushed into a corner like that. So it was do or die. It was like, okay, what do we do? Like we've got $10,000 left because he took 90,000. We've made like 100K. What do we do? I was like, I'm not leaving with. Not leaving.
Fuck this, bro.
Like fuck, like 10K for that. Like I've just shaved like 3 years off my life. There's no way I'm leaving with that. So we just pulled out every single stop in the book. We rallied the community. Like it was inspiring as fuck, to be honest with you. We rallied the community. We got everyone like even more invested.
Yeah.
We doubled down on the relationships, and we're just like, hey, we're gonna sell this thing out, and we're not gonna rest until we do. We'll be honest, like we've been robbed, but
Yeah.
who's gonna help us? Like we're gonna keep going. Are you coming with us? And that really, we basically led our community to um, the destination, which was sellout.
Yeah.
And it took 3 weeks of grind, and again, like had to work even harder. But it was worth it. So we sold out, and in the end, yeah, we netted, or rather, we grossed $240,000 in sales by that point, and it was a wild achievement, but I couldn't appreciate it at the time because I was still kind of shocked and
Yeah.
still stuck in the grind.
Kind of.
When you've got like when you got the blinkers on, like the
Yeah.
blinders, even when you get the thing that you're working towards, it
Keep
feels,
pushing.
yeah, like we just got to keep going. And I never
Yeah.
took a break from it, so I never really had time to appreciate what we'd achieved. And it's just now like being able to tell the story with sharing it with my audience and sharing it with people that are interested is now realizing like hell that was a big achievement, like that was really
Yeah.
really good. um and yeah, just trying to bring some of those lessons to everything I do. But yeah, it was wild.
That's dude. I got chills when you were telling the story for some reason. I don't know. I just felt like I was in your position, like losing that 90 grand, bro. That is insane. I'm curious though, like, because you were in college and then you started like a lawn mowing. How did that go? Like the transition. Like, did you just out of nowhere, or how did that go?
Uh, my mum is an obsessive gardener. So
Okay.
I, whenever I had to do family chores, it was you got to go and mow the lawn. You've got to go and trim the hedges. You've got to go and
Okay.
plant some plants. So like those are my house. Like I had a more
So you were
most people
expert, bro.
I
You
was
were.
already good.
I love it, man. Yeah.
Mate, full Russell Brunson, like just starts a community based on gardening. Full expert secrets. I was already good, and I mean, there's a bit of a chunk that's missing. So I left university, and again, I was like, I'm not ready to go into a job. So I went to Australia, and I set
Okay.
up a music events company.
Okay.
That was when I really got my first taste for like, okay,
Entrepreneurship.
entrepreneurship. And my job was like there was three of us that started it. Mine was all social media, all marketing, all the copywriting, getting people there, building the community. Like it was all marketing basically. I was just in charge
Mm,
and sales. I was in charge of that. And so I didn't realize it at the time because my mind was just like, we're throwing really fun events. Actually, that
yeah.
was my department the whole time. And COVID hit, the pandemic,
Right.
like immediately your world gets flipped. So I know the same
Mm,
thing happened for you. Like kind of things get flipped upside down, and
yeah.
you start looking like, well, what am I going to do? And instead of staying in Australia, I went home to the UK, which was it was a very good decision in the end because the Australia lockdown was crazy. Like it got really bad. So I timed it right, and I was working as a delivery driver. And I was like, again, like no, I don't want to do this. So me and my buddy just were like, why don't we start mowing lawns? I had a van,
Yeah.
dude. I had a white van for some reason, and it just wasn't getting used. I just wasn't getting use out of it, and we just put two and two together. Like, hang on, we can do digital marketing, and we can offer a service, and we can combine them, and we can start promoting ourselves. And dude, we were making loads of money. Like, it was so good. So many people needed gardening. We were just going around doing household chores for people, really, but we got good at it. And
Oh,
within like about like 2 summers worth or two
yeah.
summers of work, we'd automated it. We brought in a team and given them the job, given them the work, and then we moved to
Yeah.
Australia, moved back.
That's funny, man. Do you ever think like becoming a Hormozy of lawn mowing, like teach teach lawn mowing companies to automate, dude? Business
Man, like,
idea.
so all right, so someone that we both know. I won't mention them on the podcast.
Yeah,
Just out of respect. I mean, they probably wouldn't
yeah.
mind me saying their name. They'd probably like it.
Yeah.
But they approached me and they basically said, "Hey,
I
why don't
think I
you
know this.
yeah, why don't you go and launch like a community based off your ability to automate like lawn mowing companies
Yeah,
and landscaping companies, and then teach other people how to do that." And
yeah.
in the end, I didn't do it because I don't know. I didn't feel it wasn't aligned enough. I kind of was like,
Right,
nah, it doesn't set me on fire. It was just something I
yeah,
did just for the fun of it.
right.
But nearly.
So, but it was somewhat like so. Um, it kind of didn't align with your philosophy of um, making money being yourself. Because I assume that like gardening, although you're good at it, it's not really something that you want to do pursue in life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think bang on, man. Like, is that the vision? Is that the place I want to lead people that are going to put their trust in me? Like, hey, by the
Right.
way, there's something way more fun and fulfilling, but no, you've got to go and do gardening. Like, that's not where I'm trying to take.
It's hilarious, man.
that, that,
Um,
that, that's not where I'm trying to take them. So it's good, but yeah, I don't think it's the place I want to lead my audience.
dope, dope. And so how did the journey from so you made the whole NFT business, you know, go well. How did you go from there to Twitter? Or have you been in Twitter already? like, were you doing it Twitter NFT? Were you promoting your NFT there, or how'd that go?
Yeah, so 100% of, I say 100%, like 99%, same thing. 1% difference. Yeah, like pretty much all of the marketing for the NFT project was on Twitter.
Oh, I see.
So I'd already monetized Twitter. It was the only social media platform I'd monetized Instagram in a different way, but I'd made a lot more. All the money I'd made online
Mm,
was all through Twitter. So for me, in my mind, it was associated with, if you're going to make any money through social media for
Twitter.
yourself, doing your own thing, which is this, I guess you call it a creator business or creative entrepreneur or writer, whatever you want to call it. Um, I knew that it was going to be on Twitter. I knew that was where it was going to be for me. So I'd already done the brand building, the monetization, the community building, all on Twitter before. So it was always going to be this way for me. But I had been on. I had an anonymous account. I didn't know what I know now.
Yeah.
Put it that way. I probably would have been able to grow it a lot faster. Although growth isn't really my main objective on social media, but you always want to be growing. So yeah, I was already familiar with it, dude. To be honest with you, it was already home, at least
Right.
from a financial standpoint and making money. So yeah, I love it, man. I love this platform. It's definitely my number one. It's my number one. It's my wife. It's, you got a few side. You got a few side.
It's the new chick that you follow around.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I'm chasing her around. I'm real needy. She's telling me to get lost, but I'm not letting her go.
Yeah. So how did you decide from the NFT business go to? I think so. What is your business model right now? Is it do for you, do with you? Like how what do you do right now?
It's the same core offer right at the core,
Mm,
but it's in multiple different formats.
okay.
So although I do believe in focusing on the one thing instead of focusing on the one delivery mechanism for my offer. I
Mm,
focused on the one problem I solve. So I
right.
solve the same problem in multiple different ways. So how
Hmm.
do you monetize an audience with writing? Like that's it.
Mm,
Like how do you make money from an audience, and the skill we use to do that is writing. So really a really simplified way would be like, I'm a writer that helps people monetize, and we can do that with, hey, I can go and give you some resources, and you can go and do that yourself, like do it yourself.
right.
I'm not really there yet because I haven't got the distribution,
Mm,
but people would probably, like, people have downloaded my free stuff, so there's definitely demand. Then there's done with you, so I can basically
coach.
coach people. I can consult. It depends. Like, there's definitely a difference between coaching and consulting,
Mm,
depending on where they are on their journey. Like, if they just need like a push, like they're more beginner, it's definitely coaching. If they're
mm,
further along and they're more successful, like I consult some very successful people, some like big CEOs that make a lot more money than I ever have. It'll be more of a consulting. It'll be like, hey, you should take this route. Maybe you should think about getting these people on board, etc. It'll be more like advice, but I tend to push them. Um, and then, of course, there's a done for you where I've done stuff like built info products for people. I've written emails for people. I've yeah, like info products, building info products for people has been something I've done on and off for years.
mm.
But I'm definitely more bullish, or I'm definitely more interested in email, because I could write those. If you literally were like, hey, Dan, you've got to sit in this room and write 10 emails a day for the next 14 days, or we're going to behead you, I wouldn't even complain.
Wow, that's insane.
I'll be like, yeah, cool. So for me, like, I enjoy writing emails. So yeah, like long form ghost
Mm,
writing, I'd say, is another part of my offer. But it's
mm,
all the same thing, dude. Like, it's just, how do you want it? Like, how do you
yeah.
want it? um, I don't know. Are you the same, or have you just got like one delivery mechanism?
Right now, so right now I'm more like do for you, but I do like basically improve the whole funnel because I can do like top funnel tweets, middle funnel, which is like newsletter, and I also do like the sales page, all those stuff. So basically, kind of like a copywriter, ghostwriter guy. Um, but I've been getting so many DMs, like questions that I can't answer anymore, and I'm gonna start like a masterclass thing on the side to like teach people behind. So I guess it's like somewhat like that, but not really hard do with you for now. It's more like just teach people and do for you.
Nice. That's how it goes. Like that's the natural progression. And I look at the people that I admire. Like here's the thing. The other day I had a realization,
Mm.
and it was I've been a writer, a copywriter for years. I just didn't want to like brand myself as it. But then when I finally made that switch in my mind, I was like, dude, it's the best job on the planet because when you think about it, like because there's no rules because you're okay. All right. Anyone that's watching this is my firm belief. Copywriters are some that it's such a high status position in the working world because you can do things that other people can't. Like you're the warrior that comes into the village and they're like, hey, can you please do this? Because none of us know how to do it. The village leaders, they're like, bro, like my sales page, I'm not getting any sales. I don't know how to fix it. Or like, oh, bro, like my social media isn't growing. You come along and you have status immediately because you're the only one that knows how to do this, right? So,
Yeah.
and then what that enables you to do is say, fuck the regular business model. I'm going to have done for you. I'm going to have done with you. I'm going to launch courses. You can do whatever you want, and no one can say shit. So I realize, man, it's like it's a luxury position to be in when you can write well and you can write in different formats and then you make the rules. Like people will be like, all right, I need you to write me a sales page, or I need you to write me in my emails.
Yeah.
Cool, done. I need you to coach me because I need to learn. Cool, done. I don't have the money for coaching, but I want to learn from you and I have time. Okay, here's a course. Go and do that. So you are just like, you have it so good and it's so much freedom. It just depends how hard you want to work. So it's a luxury position, man. Like I think it's the best job in the world.
Yeah, dude. I'm starting to see that. But I do want to get your take on this, and it might be a bit controversial because, dude, I'm not gonna drop any names, but I've seen a lot of people not do for you, so they don't offer a service, but they do like coaching, and I made a newsletter about this. It's like, why would you offer people what? It's like my thought process is you're gonna make money by teaching people how to make money, but you haven't made money yourself in the do for you part. Does that ring a like? Am I making sense right now?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, like, what's the? Did you have anything else to add there, or do you want to hear my
Right.
take?
So like, I'm curious what your take on that is because I believe that if you do that, if you just try to coach people without really doing do for you, what's gonna happen is it's sort of like a pyramid scheme because you don't, you're gonna take money and then you're promising someone that they're gonna make money because you're gonna teach them, but you never really made money yourself. What do you think of that?
I mean, the way I look at it is, of course, you've got to do done for you. Like, that's obvious, but people see the leverage of done with you,
Yeah.
and it's a lot more attractive. And I've personally worked with people that they haven't got the done for you experience, and they want to go into done with you. And I say, look,
Yeah.
let's get real. You need to, let's get real a minute. Like you've got to go and do some more. You've got to do some done for you because
Yeah.
that's going to give you the authority and the experience you need. Like I've been a professional writer for like way over 5 years. I've gone and built things for people and done things. And at the time when I was younger, I didn't even know how it would end up for me. I never thought I'd ever be coaching anyone or teaching anyone anything.
Yeah.
But now it's so obvious. The teaching model is so popular and it's so lucrative that people just jump straight to that. And like, look, they won't go that far. Like, that's all I'd say. I'd be like, look, fill your boots. If you really don't want to do done for you, cool. But like, you can't be teaching any kind of model or promising any kind of like financial goals if you haven't really reached those yourself. So you've got to be careful. I think even if you look at some of the other creators who are more consultants, like they've got years and years and years of
Exactly.
experience in the field. So if they're not promising money, at least they're promising like guaranteed expertise. Like you will be successful if you follow this program, but they're not saying like you're going to make 10K or 15K. It just depends what the promise is. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a consultant or a coach. I think you just need to have the experience and the results to back it up. And the easiest way to do that, as you're learning, is just go and get some done for you clients, go and make your money, go and get them results, and then come back to the table like a year later and be like, hey, I just made this much money for me and my client, and I haven't even started teaching people yet. Do you want to know how I did it? And everyone's gonna be like, yeah.
Dope. But yeah, I guess because I've been seeing like, right, I don't know if maybe I'm just frantic about it, but I've been seeing people flexing that they made money coaching and then promising that they will coach someone to make the same money. But it's like they made money coaching, so you can't tell a ghostwriter or anyone else that they will get the same money as you because you made that money coaching. So that's why I was like trying to say, it looks like you're promising something that you got from coaching. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. But then what you could do is you could be the coach for coaches.
Makes sense. Have you done that?
Yeah. Huh?
Have you done that?
I've coached some coaches.
Okay.
I've definitely coached some coaches because look, like, what do coaches need? Leads. They need better marketing. So you coach the coach how to market themselves, and then they make more money. So I've coached some coaches. I've coached business owners just how to make more money out of their current email list, out of their current clients. Like that's I actually really like working with business owners because it's straightforward because they've already got customers. Like so it's easy. And then I've also coached writers just how to get more clients for themselves and how to improve their writing and make themselves better. So yeah, I mean, one thing is I'm an explorer, so I struggle to cancel. I struggle to be like, okay, ignore that. If anyone needs my help and they can pay for it and they look like they're going to get results, I'll help them. And really, like, that maybe flies in the face of what the best business practice is, which is find one individual that does one thing, one niche, etc., etc. Is that Rudolph? Is that reindeers?
Dude, it was the bells. I'm in a building right now, and that's their sign that they're collecting trash.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Okay. Then. I was going to say, like, sounds like the reindeers are coming.
It's 6 months advance, bro.
Yeah, early, bro. Yeah. He's been someone's been coaching him to turn you around. Like, he's just doubling his output.
They want it fast, man. Someone's been coaching Santa Claus, bro.
Yeah, whoever that is, like, that's what I want to move into that niche. I want to coach Santa.
6 months instead of 12 months, right? Yeah, dude, 6 months.
What's the promise in 6 months? Like, you'll double your profits in a year. But what they didn't tell him is that he actually has to go out in June as well.
Now that's, dude. Why doesn't he do that? Right? That's more profit, bro.
Yeah, I know. Like, but he's lazy and does it once a year. But hey, like maybe that we're on something. But yeah, the point is, going back to it, because I like to sidetrack. Dude, like, I've coached coaches and I've coached writers and I've coached business owners and I've coached anyone that basically needs to make more money. And rule of thumb is, if they're not an idiot, usually they get results. And I love coaching's fun, like, or consulting's fun, and you'll smash it as well. But I think the overall point is, what experience why should someone listen to you? Like, where does your authority come from? Like, at the end of the day, and you need the results. And here's the last thing I'll say. I can personally tell when someone's results that they're flexing are not legit. Like, I can kind of like pick up. I'm like, all right, where did that result come from? Like, is that to do with what you're doing right now, or did you basically just take a result from the past and like plug it in here? And I'm always skeptical of people. I need to see proof. And like, for me, it's like, look, please, if you're making a claim, your life will be so much easier. You'll make way more money if it's true. Like, if you said how to reach 20K a month and you've only hit 10, why are you saying 20? 10's enough. Like, you can just tell, like, there's no shame in just coaching people and teaching people an achievement you've got, even if it doesn't feel that impressive. That's all you've got to work with right now, and you just keep working up and up and up. So that's what I tell my clients. I'm like, look, if you're insecure about your achievements, you don't think they're big enough, trust me, to someone that's very impressive. So just be real with what you've done. Obviously use copywriting and strategically position it and say it in ways that catches attention, but your business will thrive long term. It'll go a lot bigger if you just you're truthful from the start and you market yourself honestly, because that's what's really attractive. That's when all the work gets done. Even when you're not there, like people are like, this person has integrity, this person's honest, this person's real, and they get results. Why wouldn't I go with them? Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build trust. So that's my take, man.
I think it goes back to what you're saying, or what we talked about in the beginning. Basically, productize yourself. So, like making money being yourself, because what you mentioned, like you're a consultant, you're a coach, you have digital products. Like you can tell everything who needs not just copywriting, because copywriting, if someone needs copywriting, they can go to me, they can go to you, they can go to like so many other people. But if they need Dan, right, like they can only go to you. And that's, I think, the power of your banner. Basically productize yourself, because they know that you're the only one who can help them, which is funny. Like you mentioned, you're the only hero that goes into the village and like, dude, I got this.
Exactly. And this is where storytelling is important. Like you'll be surprised, even if it's a dark part of your story, if you tell it, you'll be surprised the person that's been lurking that just goes, holy shit, like that happened to me, or oh my God, I had something happen really similar to me. And usually the bigger clients are the ones that respond to the story, because they know what you can do. They know you have expertise. They can see clearly, like, okay, this person can solve this problem. But as soon as you say something like, you know, I got robbed 90K by my business partner, or I suffered with depression, all of a sudden they go, no, they're actually the same as me. Like I actually see myself in them, and now it's just fully aligning everything together. And I would say that I've probably acquired clients that I've been nurturing for months. The clincher was when they finally read a part of my story where they're like, I'm sold now, like I'm in, like that's too similar to me, and I feel like I'm looking in a mirror, plus this, I really need this problem solved. So stories for me have been very effective in actually getting people over the line. Big ideas are great, like getting paid for being yourself, and productizing yourself is very attractive, but what's actually going to make someone take action that isn't, when you're nurturing them over the long term, not just like, here's a direct CTA, or here's a CTA that I know is going to get them to click. It's like, no, what's actually going to trigger the buying decision? Like when they actually sit back in a chair and go, I want to, not, I saw something I liked and I clicked, like direct response, where it's almost like you can get them through the door like very fast, and like you have to catch them and like take them away, and like not like you have to like deal with that very quickly. It's like, I'm talking about the people that you're nurturing for months,
like long term, right?
Long term, they will hear a part of your story like after knowing who you are for months and months, and go, all right, I'm in. So storytelling a big aspect as well, and yeah, we've got to learn a lot of skills. We do, but that when they come together and you aggregate them on top of each other, it creates magic.
And it's not just 1 + 1 + 1. It becomes like 1 + 1 becomes 5. You know, like it becomes just exponential. So that's crazy. But so one of your mission, or like your mission that you mentioned, was you help purpose-driven entrepreneurs. Here, I'm reading it right now. I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs make an impact in the creator economy, helping them build a valuable audience and harvesting every last penny from it. Can you expound on what you want to say on that?
So I think you need purpose in life. And look, it took me a long time to get over my relationship with money. Now I just talk about money. I don't give a shit. Like, if you don't like the way I talk about money, which is very matter of fact, like I ain't for you. Like, I like having conversations about money, and I like talking about it very candidly, but that is not my driver. That's why I talk about it so openly, because I'm like, I don't really it's not the most important thing. So it's just like talking about oxygen or like, I don't know, like food. Like it's not the only thing that matters. That, you know,
Yeah.
it's just like, what's the big deal? And obviously in the industry we're in, it helps us move forward. But purpose is definitely a much bigger factor for me. I like to work with people that actually have a mission. I like to work with people that actually have a purpose, because I don't want to hang out with people where money is the only thing they're striving for, because that means they're not thinking that big. And so I
Yeah.
want to work with people that see money as a tool and to fulfill their bigger purpose. So when I say I help purpose-driven entrepreneurs, they're the kind of people I hang out with in Bali. That's my network. They're the people I get the most enjoyment out from, and they're the people I like working with most and helping most. So I help. That's why I say purpose-driven entrepreneurs are my people, because I definitely identify as one. So it's a lot easier to get on with people that you identify with. Make an impact. Well, of course, like you've got to make a name for yourself, and you've got to actually get results. So make an impact in the creator economy. I mean, I'm helping people outside of the creator economy as well, which is really interesting. But creators are definitely people that I resonate with most. I would say I'm a creator, at least as part of my identity. So the creator economy is obviously the best place to be free with that, although it's very competitive. But I think there's upsides to the competition, especially from a personal development perspective. And what did I say? I help them make an impact in the creator economy by
Helping
harvesting
them.
every last
Yeah.
penny out of their audience. Okay, that's quite a savage.
Yeah.
It's quite a savage way of looking at things, because it makes it sound like the Matrix, where they're just harvesting people's like blood and all of that weird stuff. But I do believe that you have to harvest, you reap and you sow. So a lot of people are reaping, and they're just putting all the seed out into the land, which is their profile, their content, etc. is all the seed. They're putting out value, etc., building up a big audience, and they don't know how to harvest. Like, so
Yeah.
basically they've grown this huge audience. They don't know, or this huge field of crops, and they don't know what the weeds are. They don't know what's the highest yield crop. They don't even know what they've planted. It's just all out there, and it's overflowing. It's like when I was a gardener and I go in someone's back garden, I'd be like, holy shit, what's what? Like, you let this get out of control.
Dude, I love it, bro.
So basically, it's like, right, how do we get in there, and how do we trim all the, like, obviously you're not going to lose, we don't want people to lose followers, but like, how do we distinguish between like who's actually the high quality followers that are going to pay you? How do we smoke them out as quickly as possible, and actually have a conversation with them as quick as we can, and get them to get the
What they want,
exchange
what
going,
they
because
need.
they
Yeah.
want to pay you for something. They want your service, they want your product. How do we get them engaged as quickly as possible, have that conversation, and get that transaction happening as quickly as possible, while ignoring the rest? And that's something that a lot of people struggle with. And I have some big creator clients of mine who have basically hired me for just that. So I basically changed my bio the other day. I was like, I help people harvest every last penny out of their audience, because people struggle with it, man. Like, people just get so obsessed with the content creation and the
Yeah.
love and the
The
praise,
popularity. Yeah. Yeah.
the popularity. Dude, I nearly fell into it myself. And now, after solving that problem for myself and avoiding that trap, going deeper into that trap, I'm pretty passionate about helping creators who are so talented, so hardworking. I'm pretty passionate about getting them to solve that problem as quickly as possible, so that they can get what they deserve, which is, you're a value creator. You make people's lives better. You inspire people. You actually make a difference in the world. And you build things, and you get people together. You build communities. Why the hell are you still broke? Like, or not broke, but yeah, or like, why the hell are you struggling? Why aren't you getting what you deserve? And so that's really
Yeah.
what I help people with.
Yo, I don't know what's up, but every time you speak, bro, it's like I'm feeling goosebumps, man. Like, you are inspiring me right now, bro. Let's
Good,
go.
man. Good. That's it, mate. That's the idea. I mean, look, I just speak from the heart. Like, these are just things that matter to me. Like, to be honest with you, and yeah, you got to feel. It's whatever makes you feel most alive. Like, when you're feeling alive and you feel like God's just come up and put a rocket up your ass, like, you're on the right track, and that That's all I'm trying to do. So for myself, from a selfish perspective, is if it gives me energy and I start talking about it, I'm like, okay, follow this, follow the. It's like Kieran Drew always says
Interesting.
it, but it's so true. You've got to follow the energy always, and that usually leads to bigger results in every area of life. Like it's not just
Right.
more life satisfaction. It's like I've got more money in my bank account since I started following my energy. I am attracting better people into my life. Um, you know, more beautiful women come and talk to me. Like,
Yeah, that's the key, bro.
like it's all a facade. All of this is just a facade to get that. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Um, it's whatever gives you that energy, man. So yeah, I'm glad you're inspired, but this is just what makes me feel alive. So I'm blessed, man. We're both blessed, but every day
That's another
I'm blessed.
that's another reason why college is a scam, right? Because college makes you chase the girls, creator economy, like it flips it around.
Yeah, but then here's the thing: you're so busy that you never even see them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in the trenches again. Like,
So, all right. So, but I'm curious though, what would you consider your biggest challenge in chasing that energy that you mentioned?
figuring out what opportunities to say no to and which ones to say yes to,
Mm,
because the opportunities get bigger and bigger as you go further
yeah.
down the track, and you never know. Like, if your strategy is not optimal, you might
Mm,
actually regress
yeah.
into areas that you shouldn't be going into. And like, look, like everything happens for a reason, and it's not linear. But one of my anxieties is like, okay, I'm getting a lot more opportunities now. I like the sound of that, but then I've also got this thing in front of me right here. I don't want to get shiny object syndrome, but what if I don't take that opportunity and that's actually where I need to go? So not saying
Mm,
yes to too many things, but saying yes to the right things is
mm,
actually becoming a legitimate stress is the wrong word. It's becoming my next problem to solve,
yeah.
because once you get to a certain point, like a lot of people, I think they don't even realize, like you included, but there's so many people, is a lot of the problems that they're now treating like problems aren't actually problems
Are
anymore.
the problems? Yeah.
Like, they're not like, oh, I need more followers, I need more engagement, I need more money. It's like, no, no, bro, you just need to do that for longer, and you're
Yeah.
already set. Like, it's in motion. And this is what I
Yeah.
wish I realized. I was like, I had the problem solved ages ago. Why was I still working on them? All I need to do is just keep consistent with them and move on to the next thing. So
Yeah.
for me now, that I've solved a lot of the marketing issues, a lot of the sales issues. Now is like, okay, what's actually going to maintain long-term success? And it's knowing what to say no to and what to say yes to. That becomes tough.
Mm.
So like stuff like I would never say no to a podcast because I absolutely love them. Like, they're so fun, and like
Yeah.
the ROI is just ridiculous on them. Like, it's I'm learning everything. I'm learning. I'm getting my message out there. I'm connecting with people that actually are engaging and that are intelligent. And
Oh, I'm
it's
intelligent.
fun. So it's like, it's an obvious yes, but then there's bigger things. Like,
Yeah.
do you want to start that version? Do you want to take your offer that way? Do you want to
Yeah.
start serving these people? This person is offering you this. Should you take it? Like, all of a sudden now it's like, God, I've got too many opportunities that I love the look of.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't have enough time.
Not enough time, and not just like enough time in the day, not enough time in a lifetime
Yeah.
to,
To
to
do it
make it all
all.
work. So it's a good problem to have. I'm by no means like complaining here,
Yeah.
but it's taxing on your mind. Like, it's actually it's a problem you work on for months.
Dope. And how do you like right now? How do you deal with it? How, or for example, there's a, let's say that someone presents an opportunity. I'm pretty sure that you have like a opportunity in your mind right now. How do you decide if this is a hell yeah or a hell no, or like how do you do that?
Am I willing to drop everything to just start it now?
Mm,
Or am I willing to drop something for this? Like, am I
mm,
willing to make a sacrifice for this? Um, and I think often, if you give it enough time, if you just find yourself doing the activity and it's feeling seamless, then
mm,
it was meant to be there.
right.
I think we're capable of doing more than we think, taking
Mm,
on more than we believe we can,
mm-hmm,
if it is aligned with who we are. Because I think why a lot of people get overwhelmed is they take on too many things, and a lot of those things they don't actually, they secretly don't give a fuck about, or it's something they're just not good at. So
Yeah.
they feel overwhelmed because they're like, I'm juggling all these balls, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, you need time to get good at things, but you also need to realize, well, if I just found the thing I was really good at and the thing I enjoyed most, I could just expand within that one area so
Yeah.
much. You could serve more clients, you could launch bigger offers, you could make more money if
Yeah.
you just stayed in that area of like core area of competency. So for me, that's been writing. I can do so much more than I ever thought I could within writing. I'm far more productive. I can serve more people because it's now like a part of me that all
Yeah.
I'm doing is just making that muscle bigger, and I can just keep training it. Like I can just keep
Yeah.
training the muscle, keep loading more weight on it, and all that will happen is it will just expand rather than trying to take on all these different things. And I'm like trying to train too many muscle groups at once, and it's just an absolute car crash. Um, it's being able to focus on an area and expand so much within it that you're doing 10 times more than most people can. It's almost breaking the laws of like physics and time and space, because you love it so much that every day you are just so energized and on fire that your output is just crazy that you can keep up with it all. And the last thing is, like, if you're actually an authority in that area, people will allow you some leeway to work. Like if you're like low status in a game, like people will just bully you. Like your clients will bully you. Your
Yeah.
clients will bully you. People in the space will bully you. And it doesn't look like, it's not name calling or anything. It's just you get treated like crap.
Yeah.
When you actually stay in a game for a while and actually have confidence and a network and everything, you don't necessarily have to be perfect to be one of the best. And people, you can break some rules. So that's kind of like
Yeah.
a side tangent there, but I do believe, like, find your core area of competency, the thing that makes you feel more energized than anything, your obsession,
Yeah.
expand within that as much as you can to get 10 times done more than anyone else. And then stay in that game long enough that you become someone that doesn't need to be perfect, but just lets their results do the talking, and lets their network support them so that they can thrive. So yeah, I guess a little bit of focus is
Yeah.
required. But yeah, I don't know what you think about that.
No, dude, I love it because growing up, dude, I don't know if you're the same, but growing up, I was like trying everything in a way. So I used to do. I posted something about I used to do cubing. I used to do chess. I used to like write. I used to like just anything that I could put myself into, I would. But I would be like jack of all trades, but master of none. You know. So I would like just do something, and then when I'm okay at it, I'm still not the best at it, but I'm okay at it. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can move on now. And I think a lot of, at least I think a lot of entrepreneurs have very high openness to experience, like the big five personality. And when you have openness to experience, you're like that, where you tend to chase, what is it, the term? The woman in the red dress. So when you see a woman in the red dress, you follow her, and then you see another one, you follow her, and then and yeah, I think that there's a lot of creators on X who start doing something, and then when they don't get results after 5 days, they do another thing, and they don't realize that if you just stick with it long enough and say no to the other stuff for now, like you'll actually get more results than just switching from one task to another into another.
Well said. I mean, dude, that's why you need to. I had this. I tweeted this ages ago, and it did really well. And it's quite poetic and platitudey, but stay with me. It's
Go for it.
it's don't just fall in love with the process, become obsessed with it. And the reason why I think that resonated and why it resonates with me saying that is because when you become obsessed with something, you're not thinking about the result. So what happens is you stick with it for longer than most people because you can't stop. Like you're
Yeah.
like crack at it with like this skill,
Yeah.
right? And then when the results come, you go, oh, interesting. I stuck. I stuck with it for long enough, and now I know that if I stick with something long enough, something happens.
Mm,
So this is the light side of obsession, is you
yeah,
learn that hard work and dedication pay off without it ever feeling like hard work or dedication. It was just something you were doing. So therefore, you've learned that if you're smart, you'll recognize that, and you can engineer delayed gratification into your life, but
yeah,
through learning through obsession. So these people that tap out after 5 days, bruv, good. Like they weren't obsessed enough. Like they need to go and find their obsession and actually get, because a
right,
lot of people, right? Okay, I believe that copywriting, for example, it might be the most lucrative skill in the world if you get it right. Not saying
yeah,
that everyone's going to make it lucrative, but it's only the most lucrative skill in the world if you get it
if
right,
you're obsessed,
if you
yeah,
actually love it. Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
so,
yeah,
if coding is probably equally as lucrative, equally,
mm,
maybe even
mm,
more with AI now.
mm.
I'm not gonna get rich with coding because I'm shit with
Y-
that I have no idea what I'm doing.
Interesting,
So it's like saying, okay, it's easy to get results in something you're obsessed with, and it's easy to
yeah,
learn that sticking with something actually gets the result. Only if you've been obsessed with something can you figure that out, and then it all just becomes a game like, well, what obsesses me? Because now I have an advantage
wow,
because I'm a freak for that,
yeah.
and other people aren't. So I'm just going to win just by my biology. Like my biology is just going to win the race. Like I don't have to try, and that's the beautiful thing about obsession, in my opinion.
I love it, dude. Have you watched Ford versus Ferrari? Have you watched that
I
movie?
watched. Funny you say that. I watched Ferrari yesterday, but I haven't watched Ford versus Ferrari. No, is it a good film?
It's good, man. It's probably one of my favorite films. I've watched it like 3 times already. I've watched it while I was smoking weed. I've watched it sober, and then I watched it with my girlfriend. So it's good when you've done all those three. Like watch it with your friends with weed, and then you watch it alone, and then you watch it with your girlfriend. You kind of like it. There's this one. I made a thread about it too, but it's about sales. It's a great movie, bro. That guy who I forgot, Carol Shelby.
Hmm.
He he's a he's the only American who ever won the Le Mans, which is like the most the highest racing event in a way for those cars. And then, but I just remembered you were saying obsessive because there was a scene there where um, that man Carroll Shelby, who created the Ford GT40, the one who beat Ferrari, um, he talked about how there are some people who love what they do, right? There are some people, and they never. If you do something you love, you'll never have to work for in your life. He said that. But there are those people who are just obsessed, who just wake up and they can't help themselves. Like it's even torture at that point where they can't live a day without doing what they need to do. And he was talking to the racer who, like, this guy is broke. His shop, like his garage, got closed by the bank because they couldn't pay it, and he didn't have money because he was just racing, and it's not really lucrative being like a low class racer, not the high classes. So he was just a struggling guy, but he was so passionate with racing that he was just obsessed. And he almost quit racing because he didn't have money, but he was convinced because of that speech, I think. Like just talking about, you can't live without racing. So in a way, for you at least, I think what you were mentioning about obsession is like you can't live a day without writing an email. Especially what you mentioned, like if you can write an email 10 emails per day, like I don't think you can imagine a life where you can't write emails. Like, I feel like you'll go insane. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Um, well, I've tried it. Like I've tried to take days away, and like
Yeah.
I experimented with weekly newsletters because like I want to see what I just wanted to see what it was. But I was always every single day I was writing an email, whether or not it was the
Yeah.
same thing or for a daily, like send it out daily, which I
Yeah.
actually find more fun. But dude, I tried it, and like I even got to 10 p.m. at night, and I was like,
What am I doing?
yeah, yeah. I got to like
Yeah.
10 p.m. and I was like hungover. I was really hungover. That was it. And I was like, oh, screw it. Nah, I
I'm
got to
just
run.
right.
Like it was like it was like, how would I describe it? It was like I hadn't eaten for the day. You know, it
Yeah.
was like, dude, come on, like let's get it done. And so it's so entrenched in me now,
Mm.
that it doesn't ever feel like it's a time sink. It feels like it's a
Yeah.
pleasure, and I take
Yeah.
pride in it. So you know, I always have typos and stuff. I'm not perfect, but it's a great example that you used. I think the original quote is from Confucius, and it was, if you find a job you love, you'll never work another day in your life. And I think
Mm.
that's what we're all searching for. And
Mm.
I think that's where the ultimate message, you know, on my banner, get paid for being yourself, is look, like it's not just about people adoring you and coming to you and saying, hey, like here's like $1,000, can you send me some feet pics? Like it's
Your samples are hilarious. Okay, go on.
it's not that's not it. It's how can I just take the actions which are so aligned with me that
Mm.
eventually money finds itself to me in different ways. And like obviously we're learning from the best every single day. You know, like
Mm.
Russell Brunson's taught, if anyone's a creator, if you haven't studied Brunson's work, like you're missing out.
Yeah.
But there's so many others that we learn from. Like we learn from other mentors in the field, you know, Danko, Naval, JK Molina. Like there's other people that are closer to us, like that,
Mm.
you know, are currently not that far away from us, and they all teach us something. But ultimately, we are just trying to figure out how to live in alignment with our, I guess, our highest selves. And once we find that, these pathways, these financial pathways, start to these energetic pathways open up, and they find themselves to us. Like that money or whatever it is, those finances, like it wants to reach you, but you
Yeah.
have to open up those pathways, those energetic pathways. And a lot of it comes with action, a lot of it
Mm.
comes with knowledge, a lot of it comes with network. But once you can open those up and unblock yourself and unblock those
Yeah.
pathways, and a lot of it comes with beliefs, um, you money will start to flow to you. But it's not just going to happen. You can't manifest yourself there. You have to build things, and you have to, you know. But there's people around us that can show us how to do that. So yeah, we're just trying to find the thing that sets us on fire, doesn't feel like work, and where money just becomes a way of receiving energy more than some kind of thing that's going to buy a Rolex. You know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I love it, dude. I've been loving this conversation. And there's one last question that I'd like to ask you, which is my favorite question. If I if you were to ask yourself a question that I didn't ask, what would it be? And how would you answer it?
Maybe what's you did a pretty good job with the questions. I would say, what does success look like to you?
Okay.
And the only reason I thought about that is because everyone has a different version of success. We think that everyone has the same version because
Right.
creator economy, we all want similar things. We all
Lamborghini.
want
Yeah.
to, yeah,
The Rolex.
yeah. We all like, we all want to make money, right?
Yeah.
And we all want to live. We want to get paid for being ourselves. We want to get paid to post content, right? That's the creator economy in a nutshell.
Mm.
But it's like, well, why? Like, because everyone thinks that everyone just wants to grab money. It's like, no, it's not greed. It's for something. It's for something bigger. So, like, what does that success look like to you? And not everyone wants the Lambo. Not everyone wants the Porsche. Not everyone wants to a beach mansion in Maui or whatever it is. So I think it would have been quite curious um, to find out what that success looks like. It's like basically asking like, what's your dream outcome, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I guess for me, if I was to answer that, what does success look like to me? Honestly, like sometimes I think I'm already where I want to be. Like now, that's not for lack of ambition. That's because the things that make me happiest, I
You
already
already
have.
have it. Yeah.
I already have them. I'm very lucky. I was sat down yesterday with my family and we were all sat there having dinner, and I was like, there's a lot of people that don't have this, and that nothing matters in that kitchen when we're eating dinner. You know what what I've posted on YouTube, like what my brother's doing in his job, like what my mum's
What your
doing next week.
clients are what your clients are typing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it doesn't matter what kind of week I had. Like,
Yeah.
did I make as much as I wanted? Did I get like good feedback? Whatever. Like, are my
Did
clients
Santa
winning? Like,
Claus go there? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Is Santa Claus coming again? Like, he's already. We're gonna up it to 3 times a year. He's gonna have to imagine him like coming down the sleigh in like a mankini in the summer because it's too hot.
Yeah, man.
um, so yeah, dude. I mean, I'm fortunate with those things, but that doesn't mean that I also believe in like living abundantly. It's someone's like saying if someone's scared to get, if someone doesn't like the idea of someone getting rich, I'm like, why not? Like, what? It should just be a thing. Like everyone should just have what they want. They should create what they want. So for me, like I'm just going to keep expanding and building on that bedrock. Like that expansion isn't the thing that I'm going to get for the most fulfillment from. I really get that so much of my fulfillment from what I already have, but it's more like realizing what's possible. And I feel like I'd be spitting in God's face if I didn't use the. I'd be spitting in God's face if I didn't use the tools that He has given us to create and to expand and to build a new reality around us, and harness that power that we already have within us. I feel like I'd be literally spitting in His face if I didn't keep expanding and using that to the benefit of others and creating as many win-wins as possible. So like that's really my dream outcome is like or success is using like finding your power and using it, and keeping the things that are closest to you, those simple things, those family relationships, those personal relationships, those your health, all of these things that we are kind of born with, but we lose along the way. Keeping those as a priority, but then using that as a platform to build and expand and to create a better world around us, and it all starts with yourself. So maybe that's a generic answer.
No, dude, I love it, bro. I don't know why, but like when you were mentioning about your family, like being at the table, dude, that touched me in a very deep level because, I kind of know that feeling. Now, like, I have a lot of family problems. I kind of like had to leave home early. Uh, yeah. So when you were talking about that, I never experienced that, but when you were mentioning it, it like kind of gave me a sensation of fulfillment in a way. Like I feel like I shared that moment with you when you mentioned that. Like when you talked about when you sat down on that table and then you just like felt like nothing mattered. I I feel like I've done that, but not in that way. And I just feel like I just shared that moment with you. So, bro, that's a beautiful answer, to be honest. If that's success to you, like being living in the moment in a way, being
It's hard,
present
man.
and just expanding.
It's hard when you're in this space. Like you're a million miles an hour, especially when you're like ADHD, right? So you wanna, and you've got a winning mindset, so you don't like feeling like you're falling behind. But actually, in the reality, like this is all a game, and there's actually this living in the present moment is really it's a break from
Yeah.
the constant stimulation. And one thing I'll say is because you mentioned it, like my family life hasn't always been smooth. In fact, it's been chaos. So I similar to you, I had to leave my mum's home like at a pretty young age. Like I was independent from a young age. But it's like after I went and sorted my shit out, and let them have some space as well, and let them sort them things out. It's like 10 years later, more than that, things kind of fix themselves, and you realize, okay, doesn't matter what happens. This is always going to be here, no matter what. Like no matter what. So I feel you there, dude. And same thing happened to me, but managed to work on it, managed to fix it, and yeah, I know what it's like, but I'm a little bit older than you, and things work out the way they should.
It's beautiful, dude. I mean, if you say that, then like now I'm thinking everything went out great for you with, you know, what you mentioned, just like work ethic, being focused, and like being able to know what opportunities to say yes to and say no to. Dude, like I feel like I'm getting some guidance right now, like some what's this, therapy session or something. But
Good, mate. Like that's what it's about. That's a sign of a good conversation, in my opinion.
yeah, it's great. But yeah, man, that's all I have for you today. And I appreciate you again, dude. Like this is a very amazing conversation for me. Like a lot of the things that you were saying just hit me right on the spot, bro. But yeah, where can people find you?
Just go to the newsletter. So there's a link in my bio on X. If you want to come and say hello on Twitter or X or whatever you call it these days, at Dan Westworld, and then there's a link to my newsletter there. But yeah, I'd really appreciate it if people jumped on that. Apart from that, I've got a YouTube channel. You can check that out. There's links. You'll find it all through my Twitter. So maybe just head there. But yeah, that's where to find me.
All right, Dan Westworld. Thanks, Dan, for hopping in, and see you soon, bud.
Of course, man. It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me.